So you're a vlogging hobo and you don't deserve nice things. I feel you. I feel the same. Your show is 90% in your mother's backyard getting B-roll of flower pots circling like a vulture, even though they're dead. She hasn't watered them in 3 weeks. Rain doesn't count, bitch. I get a surprising amount of comments saying I could do my whole show on a smartphone. So we're doing it. Let's see, Mr. Smartass. We're on the, I don't even know what this is. It's my girlfriend's phone because I just recorded this whole thing on my phone. It didn't even work. Stupid Samsung piece of shit. The battery died. The whole footage is gone. I only have audio. So we're on the Motorola G2, I think, from 1991. How's the stabilization? How's the autofocus?
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
If you're wondering why that footage looks like it was shot on a flip phone and then filmed with another flip phone, that's basically what happened. You have no idea the user error today. I filmed this whole thing on the Samsung S4, couldn't get the file. Then I filmed on my girlfriend's phone, couldn't get the file off. So I had to record that with the Sony a7 III. You can make it work. What am I looking at? Is that the... Hey, how you doing? So I'm gonna assume this is the worst thing you've ever seen. I don't think there's stabilization, so we'll try to just stand still. I made some points here, but you bring up a valid point. Of course, you could film on the cheapest piece of shit as long as you have good audio. Your show's alright. It's all about the content. Are you having fun? Are you cheering people up? You could get by with a GoPro 4. No, that didn't have stabilization. I lied to myself. But let me just debunk smartphones first. It's the form factor. It drives me crazy. The good camera's on the other side. The screen's facing away. I have no idea if I'm even recording. I could have seen my Samsung shut off earlier. Not that I could have recovered the file. But I hate that. There's some that let you switch the camera from the front to the back, but they're like gimmick phones. They're not the top end. There's no Samsung S20 doing that. And most of these phones don't have a mic jack. Say you love your Samsung S8 and it had a mic jack. Don't quote me on that one. Don't quote. So you have your phone, you love it, you want to upgrade to this S20 now, but it doesn't have a mic jack anymore. I think there's ways around it. USB jacks, but it's not. Come on now. What kind of USB mic? There's only like 2 companies making them. Boya, you're on a boat in the forest. Audio is everything. If you don't have an external mic jack, forget your life. I got by with the Sony X3000 that has a really good mic in it, but it picks up everything. I prefer the lav mic. Just plug it in, even if you're tethered like a school child. I don't mind it. The other thing about smartphones, they're so fake looking. The fake Barbie skin. Like, how are these colors? I've never tried this phone. Maybe it's amazing. The color science of the Motorola generation. Unbelievable. It looks so cheap. There's reasons you upgrade. We'll get to those. But I'm not into fake Barbie looking image face. The ironic thing is most phones nowadays are not even cheap. Like, you would think, oh, you could just use whatever cheap phone. They're like $1,500 Canadian. Those dollars count in Mexico. Pretty much any cheap piece of shit mirrorless camera, like a Canon M50, would way outdo your smartphone. Not in features on paper, like, oh, my Samsung does 8K. Like, it looks good. It doesn't. Okay, right now I'm gonna switch to another camera that should be a noticeable image upgrade. It's still a cheap piece of shit, but it should be much better than this, which I've already filmed when my S4 died and I realized it, so wait to see the frustrated me ahead. My phone, when did that shut off? I looked at it, on the back it was pure blackness. I was like, how much even recorded? What a bunch of bullshit. Could be the old Samsung S4. Battery's not holding up like it should after 17 years. It's bullshit. They only last that long. So we've switched to what should be an upgrade image quality wise and stabilization. We're on the idle cam. It's been a while. Oh God, that's why I don't use it. I see it now. The memories are flooding back hard on that one. I'm dark. Point is, as long as your show's fun, it doesn't really matter what you're filming on. It's just, I focus on this stuff because it makes my life easier. Having a camera with really good autofocus makes my life easier. I can just press record and I can lean in and out. It doesn't matter. That's fun. That's good content. Leaning in and out, you don't even know. Don't even say it till you try it. It's funny, the more expensive your gear is, the less people care or even notice. Like, you're filming on this heavy-ass rig with a gimbal, and it's like, nobody cares. It's like, you could have shot on your smartphone. You're right, for the most part. Nobody would notice, as long as you're not boring people half to death and making them fall asleep while they're drinking coffee. Yeah, that's how bad you suck. But I'll admit, there's a certain point where the quality increase, which we'll switch to. I got a mirrorless camera in the back, a secret one. And we'll switch to that, and you'll see it immediately. It's like, oh, wow. Yeah, it is much better. Would you know the difference if I just filmed my entire show on this and we're having fun out in the world and interviewing people? You wouldn't care. But then you switch to the other ones, like, oh, look at that stuff. What's with the 3D look? How did you do that? The colors, wow. But with that increased image quality comes a cost. It's always heavier, harder, more expensive. Harder? It is. I've tested it. You feel the sides. It's harder. It's one of my points. I wrote it down. It's a valid point. You don't know what you're talking about. For me, I started on a piece of shit point-and-shoot camera that couldn't autofocus, so I wanted autofocus. And that's what my goal was, to get a better camera. And I got a barely better one, and it did autofocus, and it had a zoom on it. For some reason, I thought that was a good idea. It's like, oh, 20 times zoom. Wow. It was fun. I got an Eagle once. It was shaky as shit, but it was fun times. I realize it's a hawk. All right, asshole. I call them whatever I want. Birds don't have names in real life. But for me, I just want to keep striving for the best. Once you have one camera, you're always thinking, what could be better? Stabilization became important to me. So then, here we are displaying it. This has its own little gimbal. You never have to balance it. Fantastic little thing. So stabilization, super important. Autofocus. Some people focus way too hard on the colors. I appreciate good colors. I just made that video saying nobody gives a shit about your color grade. I just want accurate colors that show my skin the way it is. Just a right color, not orange or yellow or weird or freaky. Blue, I don't like that. So while this camera is super convenient, it's pretty small. Not that small, but it's pretty light. It's lighter than my mirrorless. But let's switch over to it so you can see why someone might want that kind of thing. My God, we've done it. The little Olympus EM1 Mark III. This is the one I chose to bring to show you that moving up, this is the one. It's better than the Sony a7 III out here. It just is. Better stable, better autofocus, maybe not. But now you have like a quality image. It's addictive. You see it, you're like, even though my head's balder than a rat who got shaved by a kangaroo, it could be flattering in some cultures. How do you go back? How do you go back to the smartphone image once you've seen this? You can't. You can't do it. The glistening highlights making your... Oh, it's a little harsh, Olympus. There's something about it. There's something about the magic. Maybe not right now. Maybe not today. It's autofocusing hard. The reason I love this camera so much is it's so easy to film with. I don't have to worry about the stabilization. I know it's pretty good. The autofocus, not with this lens. It's stupid Leica lens. I don't know why I brought it. I need an Olympus lens. But it's so smooth, it's perfect, even in low light. It works. And then the colors straight out of camera, I don't have to tweak anything. I don't have to, oh no, I'm too red today. Oh, the magenta. Oh, the magenta cast. You're green, you're sick. And yeah, it's a pain in the bitch. It's a bit heavier. Now I have to carry around this heavy thing, but you just plug a lav mic in there, you're done. So just because you could film your entire show on an out-of-focus action cam doesn't mean you should. You could, but as long as you have good audio, people are gonna watch it. We're back on the Motorola. Oh, you missed it. Admit it. There's a couple reasons. Say I'm doing a workout video. I'm doing pull-ups in a tree. You're not gonna look very well on a smartphone. You can't. Some of them can zoom, but it's in a low light, shaded situation. It's gonna look like shit. Whereas you get yourself a mirrorless, a macro lens up there zooming, full frame disabled. Like, that's a glorious look, and you can show people. No one's gonna be inspired to work out on your smartphone, your piece of shit in the gym. Actually, 99% of workout footage is filmed on their iPhone. I know that, because you're not allowed to bring cameras inside the gym, but still, the point stands. that you're a scrub. What I love about a mirrorless camera is they're just so much more natural looking and more pleasing, and the dynamic range, the highlights aren't blown up. You're like, why is that so white? You're racist. Admit it. The flowers. I'm surrounded by the flowers. So the main point of today's episode, if we can take some things home, you can shoot on anything. As long as you have good audio, focus on that, and it's not too shaky. So like an action cam, even indoors, you could get away with it as long as your content's good. But then you're always gonna want an upgrade. Then you get something like this and it just feels so much better. And it's easier to use. You look a little bit more professional. A little bit. Unless you use a Panasonic. And you're out of focus half the time. And people think you're from Mars. You're bullshit, Panasonic. You're bullshit. In my opinion, the best YouTube camera is the Sony a7S III, but it's expensive. You're investing in yourself hard on that one. Maybe film for a couple years and make sure you're not gonna quit after 13 days. When somebody leaves a comment, you look like you smell bad. Then you just quit forever. It's like, oh, he's right. I do look like that. I can't take this. I wasn't built for it. So I think I'm gonna finish this video off at home with the smartphone. I'll plug it in and charge it. I don't know how it even died. It was 50% if it was a foot. So we'll finish that off, test some of the freaky modes in there that I wish cameras like this had. I don't even think the new Samsungs can do what this one can do. Some freaky shit. So let's do that. We're on the Samsung S4 front-facing camera, so I can see what's happening here. I just want to prove a point. Smartphones suck, I hate them, I'll never use them again. But you could have a point. If you're just talking about action cams, could you start a whole YouTube channel? I did. For the most part, Sony X3000, I traveled Thailand and made so many great videos, and even at home I would use it. It was so easy. I was so tired of manually focusing on myself, sometimes I would just grab that thing. Made great videos. Some of my best videos are on the X3000 indoors. Totally. But some of us want to move on in life. And we don't want this noisy shit. That's beautiful. The autofocus. We're on the faded color effect. That is the cinema. You're looking at it. Having a tiny camera, I will admit this, it's easier to get better shots. You just pull it out, especially a super wide one like the Sony X3000. There was times where just something happened quick, I put, boom, you're in there. And running across the street in slow motion, that's so much easier on a tiny camera. Without this big rig, you could break something. You're back. Oh, Samsung. How did you do it? I could do my whole show on this. Just external audio, Samsung, we could do it. But would you? Should you? Teenage girl skin confirmed. Why does this mode exist, Samsung? What is this? Why is there black stuff on my lip? It looks like I fell on the pavement in a bad cartoon. I like it. I like this. Bottom line here, you can make absolutely amazing videos with terrible gear, as we're witnessing on this masterpiece that's been the most frustrating video I've ever made in my life. But why bother? Do you see a difference? I don't see it. I prefer the Samsung. Oh, that's Samsung. It's a good phone. Side by side, you could say gear does matter, kinda does. But it's not the be-all, end-all. This shouldn't be all you focus on, although that's all I focus on this channel. That's fun times. Just do the opposite of what you should be doing. You'll get somewhere. So let me know what you think down below. Does gear matter? Or can we just get by with the Smone? A Smone. Oh, Oh, I could have ended on a high note. I had one chance at that. Oh, it's not even a word. I'm gonna leave. Why is my arm so yellow? That ain't right. That ain't right. Face color and elbow, they don't match. Is that poster even that color? How you doing? Alright, I'm gonna leave. Subscribe for more, but I'll see you next.